What's up, you guys? Welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be installing a module from Experimental Designs. So if you guys did ever want to turn on your rear locker while you guys are in 4-high, 2-wheel drive, anything like that, this is going to be for you. If at the end of the video you guys do want to go ahead and purchase it, I've left the link in the description box below with a discount code. Cool thing with this is this company's actually also making it for the Tundras and the Sequoias. So if you guys are interested on how to install it and exactly what this is, make sure to stay tuned. Let's get into the video. Alright, you guys, so before we get started with the installation, I want to explain to you guys a little bit about this and what comes inside the box. So inside you're going to get a couple zip ties to go ahead and zip tie your wires away. You're going to get the actual module that you're going to need to make this thing work. You're going to get the wiring harness. You're going to get a couple of these bad boys right here. You'll see what these are. And you're also going to get this bad boy right here, which you'll see what this does as well. And then this right here is going to be a light indicator, just showing you guys when this thing is turned on. So with this installation, it shouldn't take too long. It's not too hard and it doesn't take that many tools, but it is going to be awesome once we have it in the truck. I did want to explain one thing before we actually dive right into it. You are going to have to need rear factory lockers to make this actually work. You can't install it in like an SR5 or anything like that. Your Tacoma or Tundra or Sequoia does have to have lockers from the factory. For example, if you have a TRD off-road, TRD Pro, anything like that, this will work. Let's just dive right into it, show you guys how to install it, and then how it works. All right, you guys, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you disconnect the negative and the positive of the battery just to be safe. If I was you guys, only reason why is because we are going to be working with the airbag, so you want to remove it. And don't think it was loose. I already loosened it. Just in case you need to know the size, it is a size 10mm socket to go ahead and remove those. All right, you guys, so for this next step, what you're going to want to go ahead and do after you've disconnected the battery, you want to go ahead and get a panel removal tool. As far as for me, I'm not home, so this is what I'm going to have to work with. So if you don't have a panel removal tool, you could go ahead and use maybe like a flathead screwdriver or anything like that. We're basically going to pry this panel away to expose a couple more clips. So that's what we're going to go ahead and start off with. I'm going to start off right here at the top. Make sure, if I was you guys, try and get a panel removal tool though, because doing it without one can actually mar the plastic. But once you get it going, it should just freely release just like that. So after you remove this plastic, next thing you're going to need to remove is this right here. You should be able to just pry it off by hand, just like that. The next step is going to be removing 3 bolts. So get a 10mm socket. There's one there, and one right about there. So that's what we're going to be doing next. So once you remove those 2, up next is going to be that other bottom one. That's right there. So now that you have all the screws off, as you can see, all 3, now we can go ahead and pry away the airbag. This is why I said to go ahead and remove the negative of the battery, because we are working with that. All right, and there's your airbag. Just go ahead and safely put it off to the side for now. Now you've removed the airbag safely. Up next, we're going to need to go ahead and get a Phillips head screwdriver. If you don't know what that is, that's the one that has the plus, just like this right here. And if you don't know what that is, you shouldn't be doing this install. So what we're going to need to do is remove 5 screws to go ahead and get this glove box out of the way. So the first one is going to be down here. If you guys can see right about there, that's one of them. The next one is going to be right about here. That's 2. And then there's one in there. That's 3. And then opening up the glove box right here, you're going to notice there's one there and one there. That's going to be a total of 5 Phillips head screws. So let's remove those now. One thing I did want to tell you guys on these screws, just in case you feel like you're going to strip them with the Phillips head, it does have an option to be able to put a socket on it. So you could go ahead and use just a regular socket to remove them as well. I just found it with the Phillips head, it was a little easier. But once again, if yours feel really stuck, just be super careful because these screws will strip if you try to remove them and they're not coming out. Keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the glove box just so I don't lose them. And now we should be able to remove this.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you now. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.
All right, so now that this is all exposed, I'll go ahead and get you guys closer right now, but we're gonna be working on these wires here. So after you remove the glove box, you should be looking at something like this. This is gonna be where your cabin air filter is, and then you're gonna notice there's a bunch of wires on this side. So focusing in on this side a little bit, let's zoom in for you, just to make it easier. You're gonna notice there's a control unit here, control unit in the middle, and then one right here for these connectors. So the one right here in the middle is the one we're going to need to work on, which is the one for the 4x4 module. So what you need to do is noticing this big black connector here. There is a push pin here. You push in and it pulls out just like that. And you're going to notice right here at the bottom, there's a white one, and it's going to be the same thing. I'll be honest with you, this white one here is a little bit harder to pull out, so it might take you some time, but it should come out just like that. So up next, what you want to do is go ahead and now grab your Experimental Designs Anytime Locker wiring harness, and we're going to go ahead and use the T connector to install it here. So now that you've successfully removed those two harnesses from the 4x4 control module there, up next what you want to do is grab your Anytime Locker harness, which is this here, and you're going to notice there's three connectors. This bigger one is going to be connected to this black harness there, which is a T connector. And then this here is also another T connector, which is a little bit smaller. That one is going to be connected to the white one. And then you're also going to have one left over, which you'll see what that's for right now. So let's start off with this. We'll grab the biggest one. That's going to go connected to this black harness here. And it only goes in one way, so you can't mess this up. So if it's not going in one way, all you do is flip it over, push in, make sure it clicks, just like that. And then let's go ahead and grab the white one right here, and same with this. It should only go in one way, so male to female, one way. You can't mess it up. Make sure it clicks. Up next, what you want to do is this one that's left over is go ahead and get the module from the Anytime Locker of Experimental Designs, and you go ahead and connect this. Same thing, it should only go in one way. The way you can tell though is you're going to notice on the module itself, it's going to have like a lip up top. You might be able to see it better in person, but it has a lip up top. And on the harness, it's going to have this little clip. You want those two to align. And then you clip it in. Make sure it clips. So now you should be left with the other sides of the T connectors. So these are going to go reinstalled into that control unit there, which we were working on earlier. So we'll start off with the bottom one, and same thing, it should just go in one way and it has to clip in. So you push, make sure it clips. Let's do the top one, which is the bigger one. Same thing, one way, make sure it clips, and now you got your T connector harness connected to the harness of the Anytime Locker. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to tuck these wires back a little bit. We'll get a zip tie and zip tie this out of the way somewhere, just so when we put our glove box back, it doesn't mess up any wires. All right, so once you have it nice and cleaned up, you should have just the white, blue, and black wires. What you're gonna wanna do with these is we're basically gonna feed them to the driver's side. So go ahead and find like a harness, like you see this harness here, or just anywhere, and you wanna route them through there. And with the provided zip ties, make sure you zip tie them out of the way just so they're not dangling. That's what I'm gonna do now.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you now.
All right, so once you've zip tied those out of the way, go ahead and grab the other end of the wire. So for example, this here. And as far as for me, just to make life easier, I've got a clothes hanger here, a metal one. I've opened it up and I'm gonna use this as a fish wire. So I'll grab it on one end and tape all these together, and then I'll feed it to the bottom to the driver's side. Just like that. Now I'm gonna feed it to the bottom. Go ahead and feed it through. In this step here, if you do have someone else helping you out, it does help because they can go ahead and grab the other end while you're pushing on it. but it's not that hard to do on your own. All right, you guys, so now that you've dragged the wire over from the passenger side, as you can see, we're gonna go ahead and now remove this piece, which was the clothes hanger that I used as a wire feeder. So we're gonna remove that. It's just tape, super easy. Just to show you guys one more time, so you should just have that black, blue, and white wire left. So what we're gonna be doing right now is we're gonna be installing the actual little light to indicate when the locker is on, and then we're also going to be installing one more for power. You guys will see right now. So before we do that, we need to remove these panels here. So to remove these panels for the next step, it's super easy. As far as for me, mine's not gonna have it, but your Tacoma should have a little nut right there. And with your hand, you should be able to just unscrew it. It'll be right in this spot here. Let me give you a better place. So it'd be right about there. So unscrew that. Once you've unscrewed it, you should be able to actually release this. It's just held in with clips. I've taken mine off so many times to the point that it is broken. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that for now. Let me explain this as well. So the easiest way would be starting off with this. Just literally pull up. Once again, mine's pretty much broken because I've taken it off so many times, but it should just release like that. It's just held in with clips. Okay, so once you've taken off that panel, you're gonna come underneath here. On your Tacoma, you should have this white box here, which has a bunch of connectors connected to it. So you want to go ahead and remove the bottom one. So at the top of it, it should have a push pin. So you go ahead and push down, should release the connector. So looking at it a little bit closer from the top right here, the push pin should be right here. So that's the top of the connector. Bottom of the connector here, you're going to need to count 5 starting from the right side. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That 5th wire should be a gray one like this. So noticing here, and in the Anytime locker kit, it should come with one of these wire taps here. You're gonna need to put that over the gray wire just like that. Go ahead and get yourself some pliers. Push down on it, make sure it gives a good connection. Once you notice that you already put a good connection, go ahead and reconnect that connector back into the slot. Make sure it clips in. Here is that connector we added. So for this right here, you're gonna notice on the harness that we ran over from the passenger side. Grab the white one. On the white one, it should have one of these bad boys here. So this here is going to be connected to the gray wire right there. All right, once you've made that solid connection, all you guys should have left over is going to be the white one and the black wire. And of course, these connectors and the light and the indicator light. Now that we have that white wire connected to the T-tap, we're good to go. We've reconnected it. So now all we have left is, of course, this blue one and this black wire. So those two, you're gonna need to splice them. As you can see, I've already done it previously, so we're good there. And you're gonna wanna go ahead and get your light indicator. That's what's gonna go connected there. So in this step, you're gonna have to figure out where you're gonna wanna mount this. I can tell you this is optional, you don't need it, but if I was you guys, I'd put it just so that way you know for sure when the locker's engaged. Most people will actually install it if they have blanks here. As you guys can see, I have no blanks. This one here is actually a hidden button, so I can't put it there. And then over here, all the switches are also taken. So unfortunately for me, I'm gonna have to drill into the actual console here. So I'm gonna probably make a small hole right about there, just to go ahead and slide this right over. So I'll get back to you guys once I've done it. Guys, so instead of putting it here, I ended up actually mounting it over here. So I drilled out the hole, I popped in the light. As you can see, you can barely see it. Even if you're up here, you're not gonna be able to see it. What I've done here with the black and the blue wire, remember they were dangling down here? I just ran them up, fed them through here. Here's the wires now. And then here's the red wires to the actual light indicator. So what I'm gonna be doing now is I'm gonna put these together with these, so you guys will see. So for this section here, there is no positive and negative on these, so it doesn't really matter which wire you connect it to. Just make sure you do a solid connection through after you've spliced the wire. Like I told you guys earlier. Opposite side, same thing. Slide it right in. And once you have two solid connections like that, go ahead and get, if you do have a heat gun and you want to heat these up. As far as for me, I don't, so I'm going to be doing one by one. I'm going to heat it up with the lighter, and then we'll let that cool down just a little bit, and we'll do the same thing to the opposite side. Once again, on the red wires, it doesn't matter which one you connect, because there is no positive and negative. It'll work either way. And you'll do the same thing. Get your heat gun, or if you don't have a heat gun, go ahead and just use a lighter. These cool down, and if you want to play it safe, just to make sure you do have a solid connection, you get a little bit of electrical tape and go ahead and wrap it in that. Super simple, nothing hard. Once you finish that side up, then you'll do the same thing with the opposite side. Once again, making sure you've spliced it. You can go ahead and splice this a little bit more. Make sure there's a solid connection. Now that you can see everything's now installed properly, all you have to do is, of course, do the steps in reverse to go ahead and put everything back together. It looks nice and clean. Once again, the light is there. Let's go ahead and now skip to why it's a good thing to get. Let's go. All right, you guys, so right here up front, there's a little obstacle. It's very, very minimal. But the thing is, there's a lot of loose rocks here, so it's making me slip. As you can see, I already tried going through this in two-wheel drive. No locker, no four-wheel drive is on. Like I said, it's in two-wheel drive. And you can see I was burning rubber. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop back inside the truck. I'm gonna turn on the rear locker while I'm in two-wheel drive. And we're gonna see if that works out. If not, we'll go ahead and go in 4-high and turn on the rear locker. Either way, with that rear locker alone, even in two-wheel drive, it should get me out of here. Let me hop inside and try it out. Camera's right there. You're gonna see I'm in two-wheel drive. So right now, the rear locker is not on. I'm gonna go ahead and just try, and you're gonna see we're not going anywhere. It's just skidding. It's not going anywhere. So now let's go ahead and turn on the rear locker. All right, so we're gonna leave it in two-wheel drive. We're gonna come up here. You're gonna wanna hold this thing for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. And you should get some lights on your dashboard, just like that. And then you should see this little light turn on once it engages. If it's not turning on, you wanna go ahead and back out, maybe go forward, go back. Either way, it should turn on. It just takes it some time to engage sometimes. So that's the only downside to Toyota rear lockers. So you saw it engaged. So now let's see if we make it in two-wheel drive. So there it is. So yes, it's struggling, but we're making it. Just like that. Just like that. So of course, in an ideal mode, you're not gonna be using two-wheel drive with a rear locker like that. Let's go ahead and go in reverse and do a more ideal session, which would be rear locker in 4-high. So as you guys do know, on these Tacomas, you can't really go in 4-high. It doesn't really allow you to turn on the rear lock. Well, it doesn't allow you to turn on the rear locker in 4-high. So we're gonna try that out. So let me turn it off. So once again, 3 seconds. Everything should be off now. Up next, let's go into 4-high. So let's go to neutral. Let's go into 4-high. Once again, go back up. Hold it for 3 seconds. You should see some lights over here. Light up, traction off. Light is on now, so that means it's engaged. So let's see how it does in 4-wheel drive with the rear locker. So there it is. So no need to actually go into 4-low. As you guys already know, sometimes when going in 4-low on these Tacomas, it takes forever to make it engage. So 4-high is super easy for you to engage. Let's say one day you're driving up a big hill and you just need it to engage right away. This is going to be your best bet. Let's talk a little bit more about this. Now that we finished up with the installation video, and now that we demonstrated how it works exactly, I know it was super quick, but down the road, I do want to do a full-on testing video. So that's why I did it kind of quick for you guys, but I just wanted to demonstrate so that way you guys see that it works at home. One thing I did want to touch note on is it's cool now that when I'm in two-wheel drive, say I'm getting stuck, I can turn it right on. As you guys do know, with the Tacomas, when you're trying to throw it into like 4-wheel drive, it has to be leveled. If not, it kind of like acts all crazy and it never goes into 4-wheel drive. So at least now I can just hold down the locker button and try at least to get out of a situation that I was probably stuck on. So that's a cool option. Another thing, I know some people like to go off-road in 4-high only, which I know in most instances, that's probably gonna be your best bet. Now, when you're doing like, of course, hardcore, more stuff that you need 4-low in, the rear locker, it always works. We all know that. But now, like I said, some people do like going off-road in 4-high. You know, sometimes you need a little bit more speed to get over some spots, and having that rear locker to be able to engage is going to be a big plus. So keep that in mind, you guys. Now I can do it whether I'm in 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, it does not matter. I also have a discount code in the description box below if you guys do want it. And if you guys have questions on how to install it or just any type of questions on it, hit me up. I'll try to make a quick video for you. If you want me to send it in Instagram or anything like that, just let me know. But if you want it, it's going to be there. All right, you guys, so now that we finished up with that super simple install, make sure to check it out. It'll be in the description box below along with the discount code if you guys do want to go ahead and purchase it. I hope you guys enjoyed those clips. In a future video, I'll go ahead and go out and just have some fun with it and test it out and show you guys kind of the differences in actual obstacles. So once again, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you, now. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.